Breaking the wall of cultural barriers, Sara Verstraeten, Kooi, Belgium.
On the 23rd of September in 2021, I was asked to join a meeting with some very big people. They showed me this map, or well, a little less sexy version of this map, and they proceeded to explain that they were organizing a groundbreaking expedition, sampling soil, sediment, water, air, everything. The goal was to understand human impact, climate change, and chemical pollution around the European coastline. And they looked at me and they said, "Sarah, we need public engagement." I've lived on 4 continents before I turned 18, and I'm fluent in 5 languages. There are some words for me that have different associations in different languages. So when they first told me about this, the only thing I could think was, how can I make one program that's supposed to work in all these languages with all these cultures? There's not just a language barrier, there's a barrier of behavior, there's a barrier of engagement that is different in all these places. So, the first solution for me was to break the language barrier. We translated everything into every language. So even, for instance, not just Spanish, but also Basque and Catalan. You'll see on the picture there are 2 examples of a card. These are part of a workshop that we organized, a game-based workshop on planetary health. We had participants behave as citizens of a fictitious island called Nexus, like on the carpet on the bottom right. And we took them through a story of 3 days. On the first day, we told them to discover the biodiversity of their island. On the second day, we told them that there was a challenge, an algae bloom. And on the third day, we asked them to work together as a group to find solutions to prevent this from happening in the future. However, we worked with local partners everywhere to make small modifications to this workshop. For instance, in Sweden, our partners told us, you can't just put a room full of strangers together and expect them to interact. So we had to make sure that our facilitators were enabled to lead the conversation, to help them out, and to fill the gaps a bit. However, in Barcelona, our local partner said, whoa, 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 everyone will have something to say about climate adaptation. So just make sure the moderator asks a question and takes a step back and leaves room for discussion. Another example on the top left photo, this was a snakes and ladders-like game where participants understood the challenges and successes of being a scientist on a scientific expedition. But in some places we were told, just give them the flyer with the instructions, let them do their thing. In other places we were told, please make sure that there is a volunteer to play with the people so that they are accompanied. These seem like really tiny changes, but this was us trying to understand the local culture and understanding these nuances so that our activities had a good impact. So, we went to 20 countries. We did this in 21 languages. We translated everything. We worked with 124 local partners, and we gave the material to everyone that we worked with. And we worked with 266 local researchers, and we trained them not just to do the activities, but we trained them in public engagement. We empowered them to connect to their local communities. And in all, we engaged over 10,000 people. But of course, this is just a multiplier, because we translated it, we gave them the material, we trained them, and now I need to reach out and ask how they're actually all doing. What I forgot on the last slide, I apologize, there's a tiny blue microscope, which is a foldable microscope, which we handed out to everyone along the way, but you have to build it yourself. The jury already have some in front of them, and I've brought more, so you can come and find me. It's not easy. So to go back to what I said at the beginning about how one word can have different meanings, I would really like to stress that cultural value is important. And also everybody, every individual has their own value. So we need to understand that if we want to connect to our audiences and we want to talk about climate mitigation. And to finish, the biggest surprise for me, this man, which you'll see on the right, is the president of Estonia. I had the chance to talk to him last year, and he told me that science engagement and science education, as he joined one of our activities, was one of the most important factors of science. So this was obviously amazing. Thank you.
Can we have the mic here, please? Yeah.
Hello. I had a few quick questions. What is the length of each engagement of that activity? How long is it? Is it one day, multiple days?
So the workshop that I explained with the card, it's 1 hour. The smaller activity on the top, it's like 10 to 5 minutes. We made sure that we had a range of activities to engage different kinds of audiences in very different settings.
Okay.
So it depended on the level of engagement we were looking for.
Okay. And 10,000 served over what period of time?
18 months. So the expedition went for 18 months, and this was that entire time.
Okay. And last quick question. What percentage of that 10,000 reach were from populations that are typically aren't served in science?
I have to say that percentage is very low because we had to work with our local partners, which were all research institutes, and we were there for a very short amount of time. So the program that we made was not targeted at minority groups because it wasn't possible to do this. I really wish that I could go back and help them, but we would need to make activities completely adapted to those. So this was really the general public, unfortunately.
Thank you. Do we have, yes?
So Sarah, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
When you are talking about we, how many are you, the team you are heading, is it?
We were 2 people.
Amazing. So thank you for that.
We had a designer obviously do the graphic design, and we had other people do the translations, but we were 2 people in the team.
How do you cope with it, with all the countries you are working in?
Well, I had a van. I traveled in the van. We went to all these countries ourselves. Yeah, it was, the key to this was making really, really close connections to these partners. If we couldn't share the passion with them and we couldn't make them understand the importance, why would we expect them to also want to engage? So
You were able to convince the president of Estonia because on the picture it shows more a skeptical person, I have to say.
I didn't catch that question, sorry.
Like the president of Estonia looks
Yeah.
skeptical. So did you manage to convince?
Well, it wasn't that hard, actually. He got a choice of different things that he could do on the 1 hour he was going to spend with everyone from the expedition, from visiting mobile labs, to spending time with me, with the high school students, to playing with the technology. He's an evolutionary biologist, so this is saying a lot. And he chose to play with the technology, but also to spend 20 minutes of that hour with me. So that in itself was speaking a lot.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Do we have another question? No? Oh, yes, behind, sorry. Yeah. A very quick one and a very quick answer.
Do you have any plans for a follow-up or different project using the same methods?
Yeah, so this was during my time at the European Molecular Biology Laboratory, and as we left the material behind, we hope they continue to use it.
Thank you.
Bravo.